President Akufo-Addo to begin first phase of ECOWAS tour. Good evening, you most welcome to News Hour live on GBC24 and Ghana Television. My name is Michelin Taka.
And my name is Akpene Avo Ajaja. Thank you so much for joining us for the news. Robert Frimpong-Mans is also here. He's our signer for today. In the details, President Akufo-Addo has left Ghana to begin the first phase of ECOWAS tour. The trip will take him to Togo, Burkina Faso, and La Côte d'Ivoire. He is being accompanied by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madame Shelia Koboche, and officials of the Presidency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In his absence, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, shall, in accordance with Article 60, subsection 8 of the Constitution, act in his stead. It's still the news live on GBC24. Let's now go to the eastern region where the ferry MV Millennium Challenge that got stuck on a tree stump on River Aflam at Adoso in the eastern region has resumed operations. Yesterday, a windstorm pushed MV Millennium Challenge off its course around 14 hours GMT and got entangled in tree stumps on the river. According to the Volta Lake Transport Company VLTC, operators of the vessel, there was no life at stake since they had made provisions and evacuated all passengers on board in the event of a storm. What was left were the vessel and cargoes on board. Although the management of VLTC said they have planned to dispatch another vessel, MV Volta Queen from Akonsombo to go to Adoso to help pull out MV Millennium Challenge from the problem area, the captain of the entangled vessel, Mr. Roxen Kwao, was able to get the vessel off the tree stumps at 9 o'clock this morning, after which smooth operations continued. In some more stories this hour, the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has urged society to show more interest in issues affecting young people. She said the individual and society at large bear the brunt over teenage pregnancy and school dropouts. Mrs. Akufo-Addo was speaking to sub-chiefs and queen mothers of the Central Region who paid a courtesy call on her in Accra.
The Central Region of Ghana is one of the poorest in the country. Among the many challenges the region faces is a high rate of school dropouts, coupled with the falling standards of education, and galamsey consistently ranked the region with the second highest prevalence rate in teenage pregnancy. The First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, called for immediate solution to the menace since the Central Region is a known citadel of education.
School na onye jumaye. Na a small girl awako badie obeye den ahwe no until we have to look at it closely na nia yebeye na ya ye wo until minimum be back together na ya hwe senia ekwan so ayebefa na ya stopi sania mono na Central Region susu munjina ho papa mo ho na some of the best schools wo until as I say mumban susu nko school papa. The
Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Mr. Kofi Jamesi, urged the chiefs to channel the various problems to the judicial committees set up by the government.
Side disputes bebre no ye fio na asene be ye fio no so no mo ankasa na mo beboa because every traditional council bia no ye wo judicial committee wo every regional house of chiefs, your judicial committee. Side judicial committees up to national level, national house of chiefs omunyina ya hemfo. Nti ahemfo no ana betimi ade aka hemfo asem. Regional house of chiefs ne bebre so no. Omo trase as judicial committees omo ni lawyer obetra omo ho. Ya pomodia enyabe 7 for the various regional house of chiefs. Na aka miensa MC Central Region so ka ho. Inti yebo ya humodin se yebo modin a na monya lawyer obetena mo ho na esem ni nyina beko wa.
Chiefs and queen mothers called for the speedy completion of projects, improvements in facilities in the senior high schools, and a clampdown on Galamsey. Shelley Annan for GBC24, Accra.
The West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens of the University of Ghana is to introduce new techniques that could contribute towards the discovery of new malaria drugs. This was revealed by the Director of Research at the Office of Research, Innovation and Development, Professor George Obinye, at a workshop on genetic manipulation of malaria parasites.
Despite some successes chalked up in combating malaria, it continues to be a major health threat that kills an estimated 630,000 with about 3.4 million people at risk of the disease each year. Reports show that in 2013, 90% of deaths caused by malaria occurred in Africa, in spite of the decline of the disease by 47% globally. Most of the victims are women and children. Professor J is therefore hopeful that participants from the sub-region will use the new technique toward the treatment of the disease.
The workshop is on experimental malaria genetics, and there have been a number of very useful, powerful tools to investigate the genome of the parasite that causes malaria, to give participants the hands-on knowledge and the experimental techniques to be able to investigate various aspects of the disease, parasite and the host, and the vector interaction using these techniques, which are really the most powerful for now.
Malaria is caused by the Plasmodium parasite that are transmitted to people through the bites of infected mosquitoes. As one of the 3 top killers of kids, malaria takes the life of a child every 60 seconds. Pregnant women are also at high risk of dying from complications of severe malaria. Similarly, when the parasite becomes resistant to drugs, the disease develops complications that can cause conditions such as coma, lifelong learning disabilities, and even death. It is against this backdrop that several scientists from the sub-region gathered in Accra to deliberate on how to combat the malaria with a newly developed technique. Speaking to GBC24, the director of Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Professor Kwejo Kuram, said collaboration by scientists to discuss research works must be seen as paramount not only in making knowledge available, but also in the fight against several aspects of malaria.
There are several aspects of malaria that one has to do. So this is what I would term basic science research. So basic science. I mean, if you talk to the layman about what is happening here, they will ask you, so what? But it's from these things that you get drugs, you get vaccines, you get diagnostics, you get all the things that we use in the clinic and things. So for us at Noguchi, we interface between the lab, the bench, and the field, and the patients and everything. This is very good because we also need capacity to be able to do this sort of things which are being planned, especially for this conference where we're going to take the parasite, change some genes and see how we modulate it and see how it works, functions, whether it's more virulent or it's less virulent, it cannot infect a cell and things. So you will learn something about being able to produce something which can then be used somewhere down the line as a vaccine or as a drug or as a diagnostic, as I was talking to you about.
In order to ensure health and well-being of all at every stage of life by 2030, the Sustainable Development Goal number 3 identifies major health benchmarks that include maternal and child health. However, experts are of the view that SDG 3 will be a mirage if the outcome of workshops such as this are not transformed into healthcare policies.
The Bono Ahafo Regional Minister, Mr. Kwekwasuma Cherme, has inaugurated the district technical committees for the Planting for Food and Jobs campaign at separate functions at Sunyai and Techiman. He said the region is ready to rope in about 1,000 farmers.
To effectively implement the Planting for Food and Jobs campaign, Regional technical committees have already been formed and inaugurated. They are required to offer technical advice to the parties involved in the implementation process. In a bid to shore up the operations, similar technical committees have been instituted in the various districts and municipalities within the country. In the Bono-Afo region, 27 district technical committees were inaugurated. The regional minister, Mr. Kweku Asoma-Chireme, said government is committed to ensuring smooth implementation of the project and entreated key players to give up their best to ensure its success.
If previously you harvested 2 bags from 1 acre, the new improved seeds will now yield 4 to 8 bags per acre if you follow the instructions of the extension officers.
The Regional Agric Director, Dr. Cyril Quist, threw more light on the aspect of the project that seeks to build the capacity of farmers. This, he says, is expected to enhance agriculture through improved productivity and also contribute immensely to national food security.
The planting for food and job essentially is to contribute to national food security, ensure affordable prices of foodstuff in urban areas, and also make available raw materials for industry and for livestock, and also improve the incomes of farmers and rural dwellers, as well as generate the necessary foreign exchange.
A member of the District Technical Committee, Mr. Godwin Jansi from Doma Central, gave the assurance that the team will work to ensure a successful implementation of the project.
The Yapei Bridge, which will be closed to traffic from tomorrow, May 3rd, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The closure, which lasts for 30 days, will enable the Ghana Highway Authority to undertake emergency maintenance work. The bridge, which is on the Techiman-Tamale Highway, is one of the major bridges on that stretch. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesiamu Akwata, inspected the bridge this morning for work to commence. The Yapei Bridge was built to last for 50 years, but it is now in its 54th year, thus making way for structural defects. On the line is our correspondent, Mutala Issa. Hello, Mutala. Hello, Mutala. Mutala, if you can hear me, how is the general public taking the announcement that the bridge will be closed for 30 days? We seem to have lost him. We'll bring him back once we get him on the line. In other stories, the Bono-Afo Regional Minister, Mr. Kweku Asoma-Chireme, has inaugurated the district technical committees for the Planting for Food and Job campaign at a separate function in Sunyai and Techiman. He said the region is ready to rope in about 1,000 farmers for the initiative.
It's still news are live on GBC24 and GTV. The Takwa Municipal Assembly has mapped out strategies to turn the town into a world-class municipality. It means Takwa will have to be reinforced with excellent facilities. The strategies were fashioned out at a meeting to find ways of accelerating delayed projects in the town.
Assembly during a presentation by the budget officer of the Assembly, Mr. Seth Kweku Jr.
2016, the budget was 4,094,935 cedis 96 pesos, and actual inflow was 2,157,819 cedis 16 pesos. 2016, the approved budget by the donor fund stands at 6,284,870 Ghana cedis. That is our plan, financial plan, expected revenue total from donor funds, central government, And then internal generated fund stands at 19,407,204 cities, 16 persons.
The presiding member of the Assembly, Mr. Benjamin Kessie, announced their readiness to ensure that projects which were not completed last year would be completed this year.
The projects that were earmarked for implementation in 2016 but could not be executed but are still relevant in addressing our needs have been rolled over to the 2017 Annual Action Plan based principally on our expected revenue inflows.
The Takwan Swaye Municipal Assembly projects and programs were selected for implementation from the current medium-term development plan 2014 to 2017. The plan was prepared through a participatory process with all urban and zonal councils in the municipality.
It's on News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. Let's go over now to the northern region and speak to our northern regional correspondent. Murtala Issa joins us on the line to speak to us about the closure of the Yape Bridge. Hello, good evening, Murtala.
Good evening, Telma.
Murtala is Akpene, actually.
Akpene, good evening. Sorry.
Good evening. So how is the general public taking this news about the closure of the bridge?
Well, apparently the bridge is going to be closed down tomorrow in the evening. That's from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Most drivers that ply their trade along the Kumasi, Tamale, Bolga route are quite aware of this development because there's sensitization going on. However, the challenge has to do with drivers who are coming from the Sahelian region, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Some of them who might be arriving there at around p.m. tomorrow are those who will fall victim. You quite remember when we did the story about the closure of the Bipe Bridge. There was a driver we interviewed who raised concerns about this bridge they are closing down, that anytime he passes on it, he sees the bridge vibrating unusually and makes a lot of noise. And I remember he appealing to government to expedite action on that bridge as well. I want to believe that the government has listened to their pleas, and the bridge again is over 50 years. It was initially built to last for 50 years. It is in its 54th year, and that is what has necessitated this closure and routine maintenance. The maintenance will last for 30 days. Fortunately, in this case, there is no alternative route. So from 6 p.m. tomorrow to 6 a.m. every day for the next 30 days, the northern half of the country will be completely cut off from the southern sector if you are going by road.
Murtala, so you say there's no alternative route?
There is no alternative route. Unlike what we had during the closure on the Black Border at Bipe, in this case, there is no alternative route. Cars have to just drive and get there at 6 p.m., wait until the following day, 6 a.m. before they move.
Oh, okay. But so what are the plans that are being put in place to ease the challenges that are going to come with the closure of the bridge?
Well, as it stands now, drivers will just have to face it as it is. Passengers will just have to face it as it is. You remember when they closed down the Bipe Bridge, suddenly some commercial vehicles, especially the buses that fly Accra, Tamale, Bolga, Tamale, they started operating a ferry system where they load passengers from this place, they go to they get to the bridge, offload, the passengers cross over and pick the next vehicle. I think this is what they might resort to once again to ease the traffic situation there. Again, even with the Bipe case, there was an alternative route, but most drivers didn't use it because of the distance that one had to cover there. So I believe they just have to take it as it has come and wait patiently until the maintenance work is completely done.
Murtala,
this, I must say, is going to hit business activities in the northern region and then beyond.
Right. Murtala, I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you that particular question. How is that the whole closure of the bridge, how is it going to affect business around that part of town?
Now, this is an international route that connects Ghana to the Sahelian region. It is the ECOWAS highway. Burkina Faso is going to be affected. Niger is going to be affected. Mali is going to be affected. These landlocked countries all pick their goods on the Tama and Takoradi harbors, and it's going to affect them. Besides that, just even within Ghana, we have a lot of traders who move up to the Upper East and Burkina Faso to bring tomatoes and other vegetables. These are people who are all going to suffer, especially the tomato sellers, because tomatoes, we all know, is very highly perishable. And spending extra hours on the route is definitely going to affect them.
Okay. Thank you very much for those updates from the northern region. Mutala Isa is our regional correspondent, bringing us those updates from that part of the country where we are told that the Yape Bridge will be closed to traffic from tomorrow, the 3rd of May. From 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., the closure, we are told, will last for 30 days, and it is to enable the Ghana Highway Authority to undertake emergency maintenance work. It's still News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. Time to take a break. We'll be back shortly with business. Do stay with us.
Hello, good evening, and good to have you join us for some business updates brought to you by NIB and Ernest Chemist. Dorothy Ajimai. One of the key issues raised by the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, at the 2017 May Day Parade was how workers can develop positive attitudes to work, aimed at increasing productivity in both the public and private sectors. In a reaction, the President of Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. James Asare-J, and the immediate past Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Mr. George Smith Graham, said developing a framework to monitor and measure workers' output will be key in shoring up productivity.
Statistics available indicate that the size of the workforce in the country is about 13 million people, and there are less than 2 million in formal work. This makes the creation of employment, especially in formal work, a priority of every government. But experts say the level of productivity in the country, especially in the public sector, is very low compared with what pertains in developed countries. Steps have been taken by successive governments in Ghana to help change the narrative, but Labour says the way outline different approaches, including the use of technology, training and effective systems for monitoring and evaluation. Addressing workers at the 2017 May Day Parade in Accra, President Akufo-Addo expressed serious concern about the Ghanaian attitude towards work, which he described as unsatisfactory.
When efforts are made to improve pay levels without commensurate improvement in productivity, the results inevitably point to macroeconomic instability for our country. It means the size of the formal sector shrinks even further. I do not suggest the current pay levels are satisfactory in all sectors of our economy, but I'm saying the productivity levels and work attitude are unsatisfactory in all levels of the economy.
The president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. James Asare-J, noted that putting in place an institution and the right framework to monitor workers' output will be key.
Even though there had been earlier institutions set up like MDPI, GEMPA and so on and so forth to really address issues related to productivity of public sector institutions, I don't think we have been that successful. That is why you can see that in the case of even single spine, you know, if government triples its pay pairs, to workers, you know, the less output we get. You know, the increase in productivity, the increase in wages and salaries, is not commensurate with productivity or output of productivity. Good. So it is very important that we have this institution that will look not only at public sector productivity, but also private sector productivity growth.
But the immediate past chief executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Mr. George Smith Graham, is of the view that productivity of public sector workers can be done when they are segregated.
We tend to put the entire public sector into one umbrella, and so institutions submit their budgets are slashed, and they are given anything they want to be given, and at the end of the day, they're able to achieve whatever you give them. You're able to achieve something. But we need to go beyond that. Our view is that we cannot take all the organizations as one, and we need to be able to do empirical research to find out what are the challenges that institutions are facing, because the challenges may be institution specific. Now, is it as a result of recruitment? Is it that the people in the organization have certain challenges? How do you solve those challenges? Do they have all what is required to be able to work effectively?
Some retired workers were of the view that inadequate support for the workers to function effectively also contribute to the low productivity levels in the country.
You go to Trotro station, they will line up, get to office about 8:30, 9 o'clock, exhausted. By the time they close in the evening, 4:35, they go and line up at 7:30 before they can even get Trotro to go home. Get about 9:10, no rest. The next morning, 4 a.m. they are up again. These things don't work. They don't. First of all, it affects their health. Second, it affects productivity. And there's no productivity. How can do establishments grow?
For now, the president has added his voice to the debate on scaling up productivity in the country, and labor experts say all actors in the economy, including the media, should join till effective and efficient systems are put in place to address the problem once and for all.
Vodafone Ghana has launched a new product known as Vodafone Vim onto the market. The Vodafone Vim is the company's way of empowering customers to harness their potentials and build a better future.
With a market share of 22%, Vodafone Ghana is the second leading telecommunication company in the country. To ensure that customers get value for their money, Vodafone has over the years rolled out products including Vodafone Yetriko Promo, Vodafone X, Vodafone Red and Vodafone Supernet. The latest to be added onto the company's bouquet of products is the Vodafone Vim. Vodafone Vim seeks to help customers learn a trade they are passionate about, while Vodafone provides training sessions as well as equipping them with the tools to start their own business. The marketing director of Vodafone Ghana, Madame Agnes Emefa Issa, explains how the process operates.
Interest or talent, we will help you by sending you messages and video links to any area of interest like t-shirt making, soap making, decor, cake making, sewing and hairdressing. And every week we'll encourage you using delay. And the other thing we will do is that after 12 weeks, we'll select some of the people who are really interested and give them capital to actually go for certification.
The head of segment marketing at Vodafone Ghana, Mr. Julius Owusu Chamantin, says Vodafone is giving its customers products that will enhance their lives.
What we do at Vodafone is we look for what the customer wants. So every day we are asking our customers what do they want. And today we know that customers want to have someone to help them achieve their dreams.
Vodafone Vim, which goes with the slogan Vision in Motion, tells the story that life is a difficult journey, but with the Vim one applies, he or she can make it. Hence the introduction of Vodafone Vim. Vodafone Vim has dancehall artist Shatawale as its headline ambassador.
All these things that we talk about, this is the thing, you understand me first.
The banking industry is still worried about the high rate of non-performing loans despite a slight improvement in the month of February. Non-performing loans increased by 36.17% to hit 6.4 billion cedis in February 2017 from 4.7 billion last year. The chief executive of Delta Capital, Mr. Victor Say, is therefore urging borrowers to draw solid business plans before taking a loan.
A non-performing loan is a sum of borrowed money upon which the debtor has not made his scheduled payment for at least 90 days. A non-performing loan is either in default or close to being in default. Ghana's non-performing loans increased by 36.17% to hit 6.4 billion cedis in February 2017 from 4.7 billion cedis in February 2016. The central bank attributes this trend to the general slowdown in the economy, increasing cost of production due to high utility tariffs and loan reclassification by some banks, although the situation is improving due to marginal decline in the energy sector-related debts. Non-performing loans continue to hurt not only the banks but borrowers.
Once non-performing loan is increasing, the banks realize that their risk increases also. So they have no choice than increasing the cost of borrowing because of high rate of default. So the bank will not have choice than to add the cost to the borrowers. So that's why you see interest rate still high.
The chief executive of Delta Capital, Victor Owusu, is however optimistic of a significant reduction in non-performing loans by close of year, largely due to an improvement in some key macroeconomic indicators.
If you look at the statistics as at the end of March, you realize that the non-performing loan has reduced from the peak of 18% as at February. And this is a sign that the economy have started recovering. That's number one. Number two, you realize that most of these non-performing loans were energy sector debt. And you realize government have started paying some of it by installment. So we should see improvement by the close of the year.
In order to stem this tide, the banker is advising customers to be mindful of the negative repercussions associated with failure to pay a loan.
Borrowing is a serious business. That's number one. And everyone should be mindful whenever you are going to take a loan from the bank, because the loan is not free. You have to pay back. So the repercussion on the customers is that normally you use your property as a security, and once you default, the bank is going to come after you to repossess your asset that have been used as a security. Because once you default, your credibility also reduces. So in future, once you are going for a loan, your credit score reduces, and therefore you become high risk to the bank. And for the bank to compensate for that risk, you need to be charged a higher interest rate.
Mr. Owusu is urging borrowers to assess the risk involved in the business for which they intend to seek loans. He also urged defaulters to feel free to renegotiate terms of payment with their lenders as soon as possible.
You're watching the business segment of News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. On the interbank market, the pound is selling at 5 cedis 41 pesos, the US dollar at 4 cedis 18 pesos, and the euro is also trading at 4 cedis 56 pesos. On the commodities market, light crude is trading at $49.19 per barrel and cocoa at $1,812 per ton. Gold is going for $1,256.10 an ounce. And that's it for the business segment, brought to you by NIB and Ernest Chemist. We have more news coming up. Please do stay.
Welcome back to the news, and this is the health segment brought to you by FPAC and Yamvita. Ghana has not recorded any polio case since 2008 due to the use of polio vaccines made available by the Ghana Health Service. This indicates that the vaccine has been very effective. The development was revealed at the World Immunization Week celebration at Koforidua Ayoko in the Eastern region.
This year's World Immunization Celebration Week, on the theme Vaccine Works, was preceded by radio discussions, education and sensitization programs on immunization and house-to-house visitations at the Oyoko Township. The program aims at promoting the use of vaccines. It raises public awareness about the need for mothers to vaccinate children to prevent polio cases. Both nursing and expectant mothers were educated on the need for them to follow medical tips. Once they observe the rules, children are unlikely to catch any of the 6 killer diseases. The Eastern Regional Coordinator for the Expanded Immunization Program, Mr. Richard Essien, observed that the situation where children get paralyzed due to lack of immunization has become a thing of the past. He stressed the need for every child to be vaccinated to ensure the total eradication of the disease.
All parents should ensure their children are immunized.
A Deputy Director of Nursing Services, Madam Gladys Daku, revealed that from January this year till date, the Eastern region recorded 9 maternal deaths, an improvement over last year's, which witnessed 45 maternal deaths. She therefore asked the women, especially those pregnant, to visit the hospitals regularly for assistance. She asked the nursing mothers to continually visit the weighing centers till their children attain 5 years and to breastfeed them till they turn 3 years. The Eastern Regional Disease Control Officer, Madame Emilia Okain, said the World Immunization Week is very important since it is used to mainly educate mothers on the essence of vaccination.
Parents should register their children on time. Children who are registered after their first birthday pay more for registration.
Some of the mothers who spoke to GBC24 talked about the need to continue vaccination and to visit the weighing center regularly for total development of the children.
The weighing has been essential to my child's growth. He hardly falls sick. My child never had any negative reaction to the immunization. Hence, it has been very helpful.
Explaining why Koforidua Ayoko was selected for the exercise, the Ghana Coalition of NGOs on Health noted the town made gains in all indicators on child and maternal health. Hence, the decision to highlight the success to inspire others.
And also in health, the police hospital in Accra has been presented with cleaning tools and chemicals. The items were presented by Sparkling Ghana Limited, a sanitation service provider.
Ensuring a clean and a hygienic environment in hospitals has always been a prime objective. Stakeholders in the health sector and their development partners have been pushing hard on that. Despite their effort, keeping a clean and healthy environment is still a major challenge. It is against this backdrop that Sparkling Ghana Limited, providers of cleaning and sanitation services, have embarked on a massive cleanup exercise at the police hospital in Accra. The cleaning exercise covered the male theatre ward, the labour ward, the outpatient department, the kitchen, the hospital's pharmacy, as well as the administration block. The hospital was also presented with cleaning chemicals and tools. The exercise is also to make a case that ensuring a hygienic and a clean environment is a shared responsibility, and hence all hands are required on board.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Benunu Mensah, has given thumbs up to officials of the Ghana Rugby Football Union for hosting the Africa Rugby Cup of Nations for West Africa. The GOC boss, who was watching for the first time a professional rugby match, said he has been wowed by the performance of the national team, the Eagles.
Ghana on Saturday, April 29, took a giant step towards promotion to West Africa Zone C group. The national rugby team, the Eagles, were on fire against Benin in the opening game of the Rugby Africa Regional Challenge Group West 1 tournament at the Accra Sports Stadium. Ghana won by 46 points to 5. One of the high-profile personalities that graced the occasion was the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Benunu Mensah.
This is the first time I watch a full rugby match, and I might say that the impression is created on my mind. It's just excellent. I think that Herbert and his team have done very well. For them to bring the whole of Africa here, that is something in the good direction. We're hoping that as we move forward, there will be sponsors and other people coming on to develop. Because we have so much talent. I mean, look at Theophilus. He's full of talent, you know. So God has blessed this country with so much talent, but we're not able to have enough resources to be able to tap or even identify these talents. So it's a good thing, and I'm sure rugby has a very, very bright future in this country.
The tournament continues on Wednesday with a must-win encounter for Benin when they face the might of Togo at the Accra Sports Stadium.
They're still seeing the captain of the national bodybuilding team, the Black Muscle, Cyril Ajakofi, is beaming with confidence ahead of the start of the 2017 Arnold Classics Africa. Cyril says his team is more than ready to hoist the flag of Ghana in Johannesburg, South Africa.
These are members of the national bodybuilding team, the Black Muscles. They have left the shores of Ghana to participate in the Arnold Classics Africa Championship. The 2016 Man Ghana champion, Cyril Ajakofi, who is the captain of the team, is optimistic ahead of the championship.
The team, we're very, very prepared for this competition because this is the second time. So this time around, I need to expect something big because we are fully want to make our the sponsor very proud because this is the first time to put something in and we want to make him very happy. I'm still confident and strong. By this time around, I'm bringing the trophy, not medal anymore, trophy.
The managing director of Carabao Energy Drink, the official sponsors of the national bodybuilding team of Ghana, Emmanuel Asante, is upbeat at the chances of the team.
Trying to promote bodybuilding in Ghana. I'm a company, Carabao Energy Drink, focuses on health, focuses on good life, and therefore we saw the need to invest in the Black Muscles and sponsor them to the Arnold Classics. And as you can see, they're fully ready, and we hope that they bring some medals home.
The 2017 Arnold Classic Africa Championship comes off from the 5th to the 7th of May this year in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Winner of the recently held 2017 African Triathlon Union Championship, Ms. Leila Zangui, has been voted the Rising Triathlon Star of the Year at the second edition of the Kempinski Liquid Sports Awards. The 23-year-old says she has been motivated to do more for the country.
The award is aimed at throwing the spotlight on both male and female national athletes who excelled in representing the country both locally and internationally to inspire the younger generation.
Kempinski
Proud to have a social responsibility here in Ghana to support sports, to support local athletes, as well as the triathlon, which is a very new sport here in Ghana.
Here are some reactions from some award winners and nominees.
I feel very good and happy. This is actually the first award I've gotten like this, so it really inspired me to do more.
I think it's actually a great thing they started up. Like this, actually, I've never seen anything like this before. I think they're building up something that's going to raise the country itself.
Ghana's javelin record holder John Ampoma made history as the first athlete to win back-to-back King Biscuit Liquid Sports Ghana Male Athletes of the Year award. The Middle Tennessee State University students beat stiff competition from Emmanuel Dasso and Shen Safo entry to win the most prestigious accolade in Accra. The Female Athlete of the Year award went to 27-year-old sprinter Florence Owusu Japan, who beat last year's winner Janet Amponsa and triple jumper Nadia Eke.
To the USA now and NBA action, there were wins for the Houston Rockets and the Cleveland Cavaliers as the NBA playoffs rolled into the second round. Some highlights on your screens. And currently in the UEFA Champions League, Real Madrid are leading by a goal to nil against Atletico Madrid. That's all for sports.
I represent the Gaza, in the motherland, Ghana. Me no friend, no informant, I love any madman. Try me use this man a bad man. Boy, this lies you in pieces and bury you underground.
When Shatawale took his turn to perform, the crowd could not resist the tune.
That's why we not joke, man. What do you want to say? That's why we not joke, man.
Kensington Palace has released a new portrait of the Princess Charlotte. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are delighted to share a new photograph of the Princess Charlotte to mark her second birthday. All in entertainment, brought to you by Kindness of Carbell. We take the weather report now.
Ridomil Gold, mixing and dosing. Using Ridomil Gold between May and August will protect your cocoa farm from black pod and other diseases so that you can get a good harvest. Before you use Ridomil Gold, wear your protective clothing. Overalls, Wellington boots, hat, gloves, and nose mask. Half fill your Matabi knapsack sprayer with water. Add 100 gram sachet of Ridomil Gold. Then add more water until the tank is completely full. Close the lid and shake well to mix the Ridomil Gold properly. Remember, you should use 100 gram sachet of Ridomil Gold per tankful of water and 600 gram sachet of Ridomil Gold for every acre of cocoa farm.
And that has been the weather. Enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you.
That's also it for the news live from our studios here in Accra. News tonight is at 10.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a good evening.